Shalom, l'école israélitienne de Brésil, de África, de Safon América, de Bidron América, de Mercaz América, de Ásia, de Europa, de Olkol Arbot Comfort Shel Hairetz, kan de Israel Gam, kan Assaf Benami, Crispin, Levi, Asher Medaber Richichem, e ver ra Indiam Shelenu, לדבר התורה, דברים אשר יוצאו מרפי יהוה. Here the elder Assaf Benami Crispin Levi, who speaks with you, and I would like to talk once more with you about the Torah, the eternal covenant. And first, I would like to thank you that has sent your tithe, your offerings, and your donations to keep this canal and to keep the YHUH Israelites projects. Thank you very much. And if you did not help yet, we count with your help. And Gam, I would like to invite you to participate with us from the Yom Teruah, Feast of Trumpets, day 6 to 7, from the sunset of day 6 to the sunset of day 7 of September, and the Yom Kippur from sunset of day 15th to sunset of day 16th, and the Rag Sukkot, the first day of booth or tents, day 21 to 21st of September. And I'm going to speak more about that in the writing of the time, with the passing of the time. Well, and now we're going to continue with our study of the Torah. We stopped at item number 143. We speak about the clean animals fit for consumption and offerings. Well, and let's go to the item 144. The priest must receive the first fleece from the shearing of sheep. Devarim, Deuteronômio, Devarim 18:4. Devarim 18:4. Devarim chapter 18, verse 4. The first fruits of your grain, and your new wine, and your oil, and the first of the fleece of your sheep, you give it to him. And it's given to the Kohen, the priest. We can see that we're at the end of this present world, because we're coming near the 120 Jubilees, and we must be prepared to meet the Eternal One in the clothes. When we can see in First Chronicle, chapter 16, First Chronicle, chapter 16, First Chronicle, chapter 16, or Aleph Divrei Hayamin, 16, verses 14 to 16, the importance of the Torah. He is Yahweh, our Elohim. He is right rulers, Mishpatim, or in all the earth. Remember his covenant forever, the word he commanded for 1,000 generations, which he made with Abraham, and his oath to Isaac, and he established it to Yaakov for a law, and to Israel as an everlasting covenant. We speak about the everlasting covenant. The 613 commandments named Torah. We're not speaking about religion, about traditional religions. You will speak about the Torah. Because religions are vain before the eternal one. Just the Torah is our life. And Yeshayahu, the prophet Yeshayahu, Isaiah, Yeshayahu 51, verse 4. 51, verse 4. Listen to me, my people, and give ear to me, O my nation, for the Torah goes forth from me, and my right ruling I set as light to people. The Torah is light. The Torah brights the people, the nations, because the nations are completely lost. Because they changed Yahweh's laws, like it is written in Yeshayahu, chapter 24, verses 5 to 6. For the earth has been defiled under its inhabitants, because they have transgressed the Torah, changed the law, broken the everlasting covenant, Therefore a curse shall consume the earth, and those who dwell in it be punished. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth shall be burned, and few men shall be left. Then make effort for you to be left in the earth, keeping the Torah. Everything that the persons in Israel in the ancient days, they cooked or they reap the fruits and the animals. They took it to the priest, the Kohanim, for the priest to make the blessing upon their house. Why? The majority of the persons don't receive the blessings because they refuse to give their tithe, their offerings to the priest. Those ones that teach the Torah. We must fulfill the Torah. When the person sent to me the maser, tithe, the terumot offerings, I bless them with the Birkat Kohanim, or Aaron's blessing. Well, in Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 29, 30, the grain offering and the sin offering and the guilt offering they are to eat, and all that is dedicating Israel is theirs from the Kohen, and the first of all, the first fruits of all, and every contribution of all of your contribution belong to the priests, the Kohen. And the first of your ground meal you give to the priest, so that a blessing rest as your house. The Kohen ordains the blessing upon your house. Well, the priest must receive the first fleece from the shearing of sheep. When the person's shearing of sheep, they took the wooden to the priests. And we're going to see it in oral law, in Yitzhak times, in Abraham's time, in Lot's times, in Job's time. This item 144. Bereshit, Genesis 47, verses 22. Only the ground of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had portions allotted to them by Pharaoh, and they ate their portions which Pharaoh gave them. Therefore they did not sell their grounds. Pharaoh fulfilled the Torah, because that they were blessed by Yosef. If you examine, you can see that in all the action that this Pharaoh in Yosef's time, they observed the Torah. And the Rishoni, or firstly, in these portions to the Kohanins, Egyptians Kohanins. Because that, the Eternal One prepared Himself to help them to stay with Him. And the law of the Eternal One is from the beginning. Like David said in the Tehillim 119 verses 165. As for your law, your Torah is the emet, is the true since the beginning. Since the beginning. And it's very important we to keep these commandments, because the Torah is our life. Well, let's see other item, the item 145. Anything devoted to Yahweh becomes most holy to Yahweh and becomes the property of the temple of Yahweh and the priests. Vaikra 27:28. Vaikra 27:28. However, whatever man lays under ban for Yahweh, all of that he has, man and beast, or the field of his possession, is not sold or redeemed. Whatever is laid under ban is most set apart to Yahweh. Then anything devoted, consecrated to the Eternal One, becomes most holy to Yahweh, and it becomes the property of the temple of Yahweh and the priest, like was Shemuel, like was many men that served the Eternal One. And let's read it in the oral law, this item 144, Bereshit 47, Bereshit 47, 22. Only the ground of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had portions allotted to them by Pharaoh, and they ate their portions which Pharaoh gave them. Therefore they did not sell their grounds. And we can see here, men devoted, consecrated to the Eternal One, and before the Pharaoh. Then anything devoted to Yahweh becomes most holy to Yahweh and becomes the property of the temple of Yahweh and the priest. And these persons cannot to be sold and not redeemed, because they offer it to serve the Eternal One perpetually, forever. And to finalize, let's read this item 144. And 145, and 145, sorry. Masei Shilihim, Acts of Apostles, Masei Shilihim, to finalize, Masei Shilihim, for verses 32, 35. And the group of those who believed were of one heart and one being. And no one claimed that any of his possession was his own, but they had all in common, and with great power the emissaries gave witness to the resurrection of the Master Yahushua, and great favor was upon them all. For there was not anyone needy among them, for all who were possessions of lands or house sold them and broke the price of what was sold, and laid them at the feet of the emissaries, and they distributed to each as anyone has need. And Joseph, who was also called Barnabas by the emissary, which means son of encouragement, a Levite, a native of Cyprus. Then there was a Levite there that coordinated the things. And they consecrated their things to the Eternal One, like it's written in the Torah. And what's not sold, what's not, you could not sold, you could not redeem it, because they were consecrated to the Eternal One. Now, anything devoted to Yahweh becomes most holy to Yahweh, and becomes the property of the temple of Yahweh and the priests. In this case, there was a Levite here, a priest here, called Joseph, Barnabas. Shalom lekulam lekol Israelitim biarbot kamfot shel haaretz urishoni beIsrael eretznu, and Yahweh Baruch Atav Ramishpaha Gam Zohar Bracha Sheli Aleichem. Shalom Yad Chayom Ramishi Rabah.